integral, how well do you think you've been able to manage that office in such a way that AMSA in, for instance, in Ogun State, is speaking with one voice as AMSA up north, whether in BUK, whether in Mina, Niger State? Tell us about that coordination.
For the question, and it's been an exercise that has been in place before I find myself to become a member of the Public Relations Office. There is a grassroots communication that has been put in place for members, units and states and whatever place AMSA organizations exist. So there is each of the public relations officer in the units, the states, down to the national, are well coordinated in a central group where information is being passed across. And through the virtue of reporting, the active reporting that the AMSA national body has been able to set, we get detailed information of whatever activities that is happening in the local units. And we at the national units, we get it coordinated and communicated to the general public. And this has been existing for long, and we have also, through the previous administration and the current one, we have improved the way, the matter of communication through active communication on our social media platforms, creating informative graphics, and also spreading the information about our missions and visions, and upholding our name as jihadist of the pen through the digital platforms.
Wait, because I was going to mention that, because this age is the age of digitization, where everybody has a phone, every communication takes place on the internet, and of course also trying to get how well you've been able to do that, but good enough that you're also tapping into that. But President, let's come to the activities that you've been doing to ensure that that bond, that oneness is strengthened amongst AMSA members. I understand you have annual higher institution convention, which is AIC, which serves as a platform for some sort of gathering of all of the members across Nigeria. Tell us about how well you've been able to sustain that over the years, even before coming to office as president, and what are your plans also for the future for such a gathering like AIC?
All right, thank you so much for that question. Basically, Ahmadiyya Muslim Students Association is an association that is centered on spiritual upliftment, growth, and sustainability of our members in our respective campuses. So because of that, we have a whole lot of programs that have been slated for us to coordinate every year, ranging from various seminars like the Career Summit, Career Talk seminars. We partake in voluntary services like contributing to blood donations, trying to come up with initiatives that would assist the general public. However, the very most paramount part of our obligation is our 3 T's, that is the Ta'lim, the Tarbiyah, and the Tabligh. So this Ta'lim literally means education. So we inform our members in such a manner that the moment they get into the secondary school level, because AMSA consists of the secondary school level, the higher institutions, and we have special members from postgraduate studies too. So because of this, we have plans on how to maintain our excellence. The Jamaat has been known for excellence, and it is on us to maintain that status. So an AMSA member is expected to excel in whatever field he or she finds himself. So because of this, we tend to organize a lot of literary activities, competitions, basic writing exercise, and as well as Quran and other Islamic-related programs. So beyond that, we also try to excel in other spheres, which has to do with the sporting activities and all extracurricular activities. We have our meetings every month we have our classes online and physically. So in such a manner that we track the record of every member of AMSA, and with that, we know that anybody that is having a challenge, we all come together to support that particular person. So welfareism is part of the benchmark, part of the major thing that we go into.
Speaking about excellence, just a moment ago, we saw the award of excellence presented to AMSA members, I must say, who excelled in their various courses of study across various institutions in Nigeria. And when I spoke with some of the members, they talk about how they've been able to, manage Jamaat activities, AMSA activities with academic, and you begin to wonder how well they've been able to do this, also coming out tops. Some top of that class, some top in their department, some in their faculty, and it speaks to the blessing that comes with also being dedicated in the cause of Allah, because I see that's what AMSA is also preaching across our institutions. And congratulations to you, President, and to the AMSA leadership, because being able to breed excellence while also calling, students to the way of Allah is highly commendable. Because I must say, the university particularly is a free town, I must say, where you can, you have the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do, but the consciousness that you have to uphold your godly ways. Thank you so much for bringing that to focus. But one of what you mentioned, and this question will be to Brother Saula Sherifdeen, one of what you mentioned was the fact that AMSA is not just restricted to higher institution of learning, the secondary school stage. I'm interested in that. For secondary school and higher institution, there are different scenarios that will play out. Yeah, the level of understanding, the maturity, and the level of coordination you will also be able to, to carry out in this various citadel of learning will different. How are you managing the coordination at the secondary school level? Do you meet them in school, or you wait for them at their various Jama? How?
Okay, once again, in order to achieve that, we have a secondary school coordinator appointed to uphold our responsibility. And across units, we, because where organization exists, it has to, the grassroots has to be strong first before the national body will succeed. So our units, secondary school coordinators are also appointed, and they see to these activities. Some of the activities that we do in the secondary school is providing tutorials, JAM classes for students that are taking, that are aspiring to go into the universities. And we are also at the front line of spotlighting students that are excelling in their academics. And that touches the secondary school aspect as well. We gather every bit of their academic activities, their participation through the secondary school coordination unit. And with that, we are able to have detailed information of students that are in secondary schools, and then so that while they are migrating to the higher institutions, it will not be an hassle for them to find their way to connecting with AMSA in whatever in the final.
As we begin to close this particular conversation, maybe I just take 30 seconds to talk about the challenge you face on campus. In 30 seconds, if you can squeeze that in.
All right. There has been a lot of challenges, but the most important one is the fact that people, particularly our Muslim brothers, are not willing to let AMSA exist in campuses. So they go all the way to meet a whole lot of the leadership of each and every institution not to allow probably AMSA, which could be contradictory according to their opinion, to probably MSSN or TIMSAN or host of others. So we've been trying to manage it with the recommendation, with the order of the Amir Sahib not to engage in any form of tussle. However, we try to reach to the leadership diplomatically, explain who we are, tell them what we stand to offer the school and what they stand to get from us. So in lieu to this fact, they've been able to allow us in some of these institutions, while in other institutions we are still in the process. So that's just it.
Thank you so much. I want to sincerely appreciate you, Jazakallah. Hafiz Yusuf Abdul Qudus, AMSA National President. Thank you so much for coming to Jalsa Connect Studio. I also have the Public Relations Officer, Brother Saula Sherifuddin. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program. That's the much we will be able to take on this particular segment. We've had the opportunity to speak with the leadership of the Ahmadi Muslim Student Association Nigeria, where they've also shared insight as to how the association is being run in Nigeria and, of course, across the various institutions in the country. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sahid Arib Salah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
A father and son were once traveling on a boat with a few friends. The son exclaimed, "How nice would it be had we now had some fish?" His father replied that it is very possible that our God sends us a fish from this very river. In hearing this, a friend said that the boy is too young to understand such matters. But without hesitation, the father answered that our God is all-powerful, and if he so willed, would send us a fish this very instant. Lo and behold, before he had even finished his sentence, a big wave swept up a large fish onto the deck of the boat. In many ways, this prodigious child was the fulfillment of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's prophecy regarding the promised Messiah ﷺ, that he would marry and have offspring. His name was Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed.
खुदा का ये एहसान है हम पे भारी कि जिसने है अपनी ये नेमत उतारी.
He was born on the 16th of November 1909 in Qadian. At the tender age of 13, he had completed the memorization of the Quran, and by the age of 20, he was among the top of the Maulvi Fadhil degree. He was sent on the 6th of September 1934, where, having studied in Oxford University, completed his BA and MA in philosophy and economics. During his time as a student in England, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed started a monthly magazine entitled Al-Islam, with the sole purpose of showing the Western world the true, beautiful teachings of Islam. He states, "Many a time I would wonder why my father gave me permission and spent so much money for me to go and study in Oxford University. It was not that I come and learn something from them, but that I myself become worthy enough to one day come and teach them." Examined the way they live and behave. On the 8th of November 1965, after the sad demise of his father, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed was elected the third Khalifa in Rabwa. 1970 marked the year when Hazur toured West Africa. Whilst there, he felt a dire need to help the poor people around him. He devised the Nusrat Jahan scheme to tackle the problems in Africa by building hospitals and schools for the locals. By the grace of Allah, the impact of this scheme was instant, and by the end of the Third Caliphate, over 20 hospitals and more than 120 schools had been built. Later that year, Hazur went on to visit Switzerland, England, Germany, and Spain, laying the foundations of mosques in several of these countries. The Basharat Mosque in Spain was the first to be built in the country for more than 700 years. Of the many schemes launched by the third Khalifa, one of the most notable ones is the Talim al-Quran scheme, launched in 1966 with the desire that there be no member of the Jamaat unable to recite the Holy Quran and understand its meanings. In the same year, Hazur started the Waqf-e-Arzi scheme, which required volunteers to serve the Jamaat for 2 to 6 weeks at their own expenditure. Hazur then opened the Waqf-e-Jadid office for the Atfal, encouraging them to instill the habit of sacrifice within themselves. A flame of opposition was kindled in 1974 against the community. The situation had become so grave that news of Ahmadis being arrested, injured, and even martyred was arriving on a regular basis. But the enemies did not stop there. Mosques, libraries, and mission houses were either seized or destroyed. Ahmadis all over the country were boycotted. For several months, Hazur spent his nights in prayer for the protection and well-being of his sincere followers. The eyes of the Christian world were gazed upon Ahmadiyyat in 1978, when Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed delivered his speech about the breaking of the cross in London. Despite threats from different churches, Hazur was not to be averted from presenting to the world Islam's beautiful teachings. Every moment of Hazur's life was in accordance with the motto he chose for the Jamaat: love for all, hatred for none. Wherever he went on tour, his effort was always to bring man to love his fellow brother and to eradicate hatred completely. On the 9th of June, 1982, at the age of 73, this flag-bearer of peace, Hazrat Mirza Nasir Ahmed, passed away and met with his Creator. May Allah have mercy on his soul. Ameen.
उसकी सूरत हसी उसे वो कुशादा जबी दर्स अहले वफा को यही दे गया प्यार सबसे किसी से भी नफरत नहीं
A father and son.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ulushala Rahmatullah. Welcome to Jalsa Connect. I have here with me the Sadar Lajna Ima'illah and also the Ahmadiyya Muslim Women Students Association President, Sadar, in person of Mrs. Thuwaiba Fumilola Odeyemi, and the AMSA President also, that is Mrs. Ogundokun Annette Ayomidi. I would like them to say Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's so nice to have you being here with us today. We have here Jalsa Connect. This is the 71st Jalsa Salana Nigeria, and we have been ably presented the student representative, female representative, and also the Sadar Lajna Ima'illah of Nigeria. It is also definitely important that we need to ask them questions that I'm sure the viewers would like to answer. Now, starting with the Sadar Lajna Ima'illah, first of all, congratulations. Assalamu alaikum, barakallahu fi. But I'll also need to ask you questions. We know that being the Sadar of Lajna Ima'illah, we expect a great deal of things from you, be it projects, your activities, encouraging women you need to do. So I'd like to ask, can you give us a highlight of prominent roles and projects of Lajna Ima'illah?
Jazakumullah khairan. Lajna Ima'illah Nigeria, being an auxiliary body of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, is charged with various responsibilities. All this we are doing through such aspects of our programs. We have talim activities. Under talim, we have both a spiritual development and likewise the formal education of our members. Under talim, we have Quranic educational aspects. We have this educational aspects. We have the general aspects of our education. Then we have the secular aspect of education, which we do. Through this, we develop our members spiritually and educational-wise. Then in the area of our Tarbiyah activities, that deals majorly in our moral development. Under Tarbiyah activities, there are lots of recommended Jamaat books, which we read, that streamline our behaviors, the way we relate with one another, the way we relate in the midst of people, the way we relate within the Jamaat. All these tends to mold our moral aspects towards our outlook. Then we have the area of rich Shanata. Through that aspect, we are able to educate ourselves on our matrimonial aspect. The way we deal with the home front, how do we relate to our husband? How do we relate with our children? What is expected of us, our roles as a woman in bringing, in propelling the home forth. Then we have the tabligh aspect. Through this tabligh aspect, we are able to propagate Islam al-Ahmadiyya. We show the beauty of Islam to the Islam al-Ahmadiyya to the outside world. Then we have our welfare activities. Through these welfare activities, a lot of programs are being put in place. During Ramadan, we do food drive for both Jamaat member and non-Jamaat member as well. We go to hospitals, we give out gifts, we visit prisons, we do welfare activities at correctional centers. We do medical outreach during our major programs like ITIMA, workshops. We do medical outreach. Through this, we've been able to do free eye surgery. We do free consultation. We give out free medical drugs to them to correct whatever health issue they have. Lots of things are being done by Lajna Ima'illah as our road towards the propagation of Islam Ahmadiyya. Then, you were talking about our projects. Yeah, Lajna Ima'illah Nigeria has been involved in a lot of projects. We engage in building of mosques. We have one at our Jamia in Ilaro for the Lajna Ima'illah Mosque for the Jamia community. We have established a bakery at Ojokoro. This year, we established a bakery at Jamia here at the Jalsa ground for the feeding of participants of 2025 Jalsa Salana, and which we continue after Jalsa Salana by the special grace of Allah. So we also have the pure water factory also for the consumption of Jalsa Salana participants 2025. Lots of projects is being embarked upon. Lajna Ima'illah constructed additional 12 outlets of toilets at the female residential area. We did the interlocking of the aged residential area, this Jalsa Salana also. So lots and lots of programs are being put in place. And we still look forward to more of such projects, inshallah, bi-qudratillah.
It is such a good thing. It's a wonder listening to you, recounting all that you've done. Looking back to what you said, you can see that the what you're driving at is holistic. Looking at what the woman should be at home, as a wife, as a mother, not just at home, but also in the community. Not just in the community, but to the Ahmadiyya community at large. And I see that that is commendable. But we see that Lajna Ima'illah is for Lajna Ima'illah, not just for us alone, but for the whole world at large. So I need to ask this, maybe to clarify more to our viewers watching. What categorically or specifically, what are the expectations of Hazrat Amir al-Mu'minin, may Allah be his helper, towards or for Lajna Ima'illah in Nigeria?
Jazakumullah khairan for that question. Exactly, it was on the 21st of February 2021, during this COVID-19 pandemic restriction and all this, we had a mulako with its holiness then. And the first expectation he charged us with was that we should ensure that our children are being well educated ready to higher institutional level, which is the responsibility of Lajna Ima'illah, and that he has charged us and we are focusing really on it. Then on our spiritual development, his holiness also charged us that we should ensure that 100% of Lajna Ima'illah are very regular in the observance of their prayers, which we have also been educating our members and encouraging them to ensure that they observe their prayers regularly. And likewise, he charged us that our children must also be observing their prayers regularly, and likewise, they must be educated on the recitation of Holy Quran and likewise memorization of it. And this we have been doing through all the various programs of Nasrat Ahmadiyya. So we take charge of their education and their spiritual and moral development likewise.
as stated earlier, you focused on education. I think it is safe to say that Ahmadiyya focuses on education, not just for the young, but also it's a continuous thing from cradle to grave. And alhamdulillah, that we keep on educating not just everyone, but also ourselves. Muslim students, women society. Assalamu alaikum once again. It is so nice to have you being a representative, not just of students, but female students in Nigeria. So I know that the people watching, viewers, are not all Ahmadis. Can you give us a brief introduction of what Ahmadiyya Muslim Society is, and also specifically Ahmadiyya Women Society, Student Society?
Okay, Ahmadi Muslim Students Association, AMSA, has started a long way back, I think more than 40 years now. And it is an organization that is of Ahmadi students, tertiary institution all over Nigeria. And the splitting for the male and the female came around in 2019. And the splitting is mainly for us to know what women are capable of, you know. And I feel like the world can agree with me that women are capable of doing anything. Even not quite long, they distributed an award, and a good number of the awards were presented to the females. So Ahmadi Muslim Women Students Association Nigeria is a non-profit, faith-driven association that is focused on developing spiritually, intellectually,